Hello everyone, welcome to Volume 1 of the Degenerate Gambling Life. We're mainly going to focus on fantasy football every week and a couple of poker hands, but we'll also do fantasy baseball, we'll do fantasy basketball, we'll discuss whether it's roulette, maybe blackjack strategies, different bets that we like, certain parlays, just about anything we think might be part of being the Degenerate Gambling Life. This week we're going to discuss players that are going outside the top 100 ADP that we think are undervalued. First player I'd like to discuss is Kirk Cousins. Since he's signed with the Vikings, he's averaged quarterback 12, and right now he's going off the board quarterback 14 with an average ADP of 114. Since he signed with them, he's put up 4,200 yards this season, 31 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions. Since they drafted Justin Jefferson, they just have been throwing more, and he's all the way up to quarterback 8. They also have a full season in TJ Hawkinson. They drafted Jordan Anderson in the first round. They have KJ Osborne take the top off still, and of course Justin Jefferson. Their defense is still going to be mediocre. They gave up 25 points a game last season, so they have to pass it a lot if they're going to win a bunch of games like they did last year. And I think that he could even hit 40 touchdown passes this year, with this being Justin Jefferson going into his prime of his career. So look for that value if you pass on the top end of those quarterbacks. Second player I want to mention is running back Kendre Miller of the New Orleans Saints. We know Kamara is going to be suspended, and that OC, who's been there since 2009, has a history of liking a lead back. So look for Kendre Miller, if he can run with it, to kind of surpass Kamara. Kamara the last couple of years has been fading. His averages have been going down and down. I know that they lost Drew Brees, but he's also getting older, and so I think for this season, if you're getting Kendre Miller in the last round of your draft, second last round of your draft, you're getting a lottery ticket that could give you RB2 or really good flex value. So that's someone that I'd look at if you're needing, that bench player for last running back slot.
What's up, everyone? My name is Kevin Miller. I'm here with my partners Joshua and Jacob. We are the Degenerate Gambling Life. We're here to talk to you guys about fantasy football, poker, and anything other degenerate that we can think of. On today's episode, we are going to discuss players going late in redraft that can win you your league. And I will start off with rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, who is currently going at ADP 124, quarterback 14 off the board. So in a 12-team league, he's going as a high-end quarterback too, and he is graded as the most athletic quarterback of all time coming out of college. He has the rushing upside of a Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick or Robert Griffin, and he could develop into a Justin Fields or Josh Allen type. So if you're taking a flyer at quarterback after maybe drafting a safe quarterback, or maybe you wait on quarterback and end up with Dak Prescott or Tua, and you want to get a second quarterback, Anthony Richardson is a good gamble to take in your late rounds of your draft. If you're drafting, say, a top 5 or 6 quarterback, I don't think it's necessary to take a second quarterback at all, or gamble on a guy that could produce at that clip that you're already drafting for. So that would be my late round quarterback. And another guy I really like, who I've been a fan of for the last few years, is Elijah Moore. He's currently going as wide receiver 38 off the board in redraft at an ADP of 12.8, going in the 11th round. Now, I know what you're thinking. He's never proved he can do it for a long period of time. He got hurt his rookie year. He has character problems. Sure, those are all things you could put against him, but that's why he's going where he is. This guy was a second round player coming out of college, and would have been a first round if there wasn't for character issues. And throughout the second half of his rookie year, while catching passes from Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White, and other really, really not good quarterbacks, he was producing at a wide receiver 3 overall clip for almost a half of a season, behind only Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel. So he's shown, even with poor quarterback play, that he can produce at a high clip. I really like Elijah Moore. I think now that he's gotten out of New York, he's gotten a fresh start. If you saw the training camp video interview of him recently, he's happy, he feels respected, he feels like he's being used to his capabilities. And I don't know about you guys, but if I am at my job, which I am right now, I feel like I'd work a lot harder and a lot better when I feel appreciated versus feeling like I don't matter or my skills aren't being utilized. So I think we are about to see a third-year breakout from Elijah Moore. Draft him as your wide receiver 4 in the 8th or 9th round, and he will help you win your league. Little fun fantasy note for you here. Week 17 matchup against the Jets for Elijah Moore. Revenge game narrative. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Kevin Miller. We are the Degenerate Gambling Life, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
A player who I think has been overlooked by fantasy football pundits this season is Donovan Peoples-Jones. This guy's a freak athlete who's elevated every single year he's in the league. He has great size, and he's in a really good situation this season, despite what a lot of people think, because of the addition of Elijah Moore and Cedric Tillman for the Cleveland Browns. The fact is that Donovan Peoples-Jones catches a lot of the balls thrown his way, catching 63.5% of the passes last season when he was targeted. That's better than guys like Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Deontay Johnson. So you're getting a lot of value here for a guy that's going wide receiver 67 in redraft leagues this season when he finished as wide receiver 38 last season. There's a lot of upside for him to continue elevating this season like he has every other year he's been in the league, because he's going to be in an offense with Deshaun Watson that wants to throw the ball 35 to 40 times a game. He's going to get more targets, which he's going to convert. So look for him to do something in the neighborhood of 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think this guy is being greatly overlooked, going undrafted in some leagues, which is completely unfathomable to me. So please take a look at Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Now let's jump into a couple of poker hands. We're at Texas Card House Social. We're playing 1-2. Both of these hands are going to take place when I'm under the gun. I'm actually unracking my chips. I look down at pocket fours and I limp. The earned gun plus 2 limps middle position now raises to $20. The cutoff calls at $20. The big blind calls $20. I throw in the $20 and earned gun plus 2 calls $20. The flop, as beautiful as can be, 4 spades, 8 of clubs, 4 of hearts. I flop quads. The big blind checks. I have this board locked up, so I check. The earned gun plus 2, they check. The middle position, the initial raiser, now raises to $35. The cutoff calls. The big blind folds. I call, and the earned gun plus 2 calls. I was actually a little shocked with this many callers because I have this board so locked up. The turn is the ace of hearts. I figured that has to be good for one of them, and it checks around. The river comes the 9 of clubs. I didn't want this checking around again, so now I go ahead and bet out $48. The earned gun plus 2 now folds. The middle position raises to $125. The cutoff folds. I'm putting him on an ace. I want to get the rest of my money in, so I go all in for $197. Middle position thinks about it for a couple seconds and calls. I flip over the quads to show him the bad news, and he actually shows the second nuts. He had pocket aces and got very unlucky with that turn of the ace to give him the second nuts, and I scooped that $730 pot on my very first hand. Next hand, under the gun again. I look down at the 9 of hearts and 9 of diamonds. I open for $13. Earned gun plus 2 calls. The middle position calls. The button calls. The small blind calls. And the big blind calls. We're going 6 ways to a flop. It's Texas, not uncommon. The flop comes ace of hearts, king of clubs, 3 of diamonds. The small blind now checks. Big blind checks. I check. Earned gun plus 2 checks. Middle position checks. Now the button bets 10, and we all call the 10. I figured getting good value after first 2 call. Let's see what comes. The turn comes the bink card, the 9 of clubs. The small blind checks again. The big blind checks. Now I want to go ahead and start getting some value. I figure at this point I got the effective nut since no one raised me pre-flop. So I bet $63. Middle position folds. The button thinks about it for a moment. I actually thought they had the ace when they bet the flop. They'd been kind of a timid player, but they end up folding. The small blind folds, and now the big blind raises to $175. I think for a few moments, I actually think they're on, some sort of draw, but I go ahead and move all in for my remaining $495, and the big blind snap calls. I flip over my set of nines, and they flip over their hand, and they got the king of spades and the three of spades. So all I have to do is fade a king. Luckily, the river comes a seven of diamonds, and I scoop the pot. That'll be it for this video, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the players we discussed and the poker hands. Go ahead and give you a sneak peek. Next week, we'll be discussing our top 5 running backs. And I'm going to shock some people. I do not have Jonathan Taylor in my top 5. I'll tell you why I'm fading him. And everyone else will share their top 5. And we'll have a couple more poker hands discussed. Look forward to comments below. Subscribe. And we'll be putting out these contents at least once a week. Thank you.